Hello, my name is Abigail Richardson Schulte, and I am composer in residence with the Hamilton Philharmonic Orchestra. On April 23rd, we are presenting The Legends of Swing with incredible jazz singer Dee Daniels and guest conductor Karl Hirzer from the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra. Welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Abigail.
So, Dee, I'll start off with you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to becoming a musician?
Well, music, I grew up in church in Oakland, California. My stepfather was a Baptist minister, and any Black Baptist minister at that time, if they had any kids, at least one was going to be in music somehow. So I was the pianist, and that's how I started. But although growing up, art was my passion. And I just never thought of music as a career. But once I got out of university with a degree in art and singing with a band, I realized that my true calling was indeed music.
I see. And then, so you're American. How did you find your way to living in Canada?
Love,
Oh.
love, a Canadian man. Actually, I was living in Belgium at the time, and I came to Vancouver for a concert. And the short story is I was introduced to Doug, and I have to say, as corny as it may sound, that it was definitely love at first sight. So 1 year and 4 days later, we were married. We got married and in Seattle, and 4 days later, I was back in Belgium working because I had like about 8 months of commitments before I could even think about immigrating here.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure it's a very different scene musically than what you were used to here in Canada.
Yes, it was. That was a
Yeah,
long time ago.
right. And Karl, how about for you? You are a pianist. I know I see some guitars on your wall as well. But what was your path to becoming a conductor?
Well, I studied piano mainly when I first went into music after high school, and so I was very much in like solo classical piano world for many years. But I began to discover in a more in-depth way my undergrad studies, basically the orchestral repertoire, and just fell totally in love with the music. And I think as a pianist, I mean, there's so much incredible piano repertoire out there. Um, but I think I always felt a little bit sort of ostracized from orchestral music, and thought, how can I be a part of this? And then I thought, well, maybe conducting would be something that could be interesting.
Well,
And
certainly, but how did you find your way in? I mean, that's actually a big jump to go from being a pianist to a conductor, where you're part of workshops, or what was that process like?
I did, yeah. I had a few opportunities in my undergrad. There was a teacher there who came and gave me a few opportunities to work with the orchestra. And then I subsequently, during my grad studies in Montreal, I also studied with Alexis Hauser and Guillaume Bourgogne there, who were great teachers. And I also, yeah, on a bit of a sad note, I should mention also that I studied with Boris Brott as well in Hamilton. And so I did spend one summer in Hamilton working with the National Academy Orchestra, and he was an amazing teacher and taught me a huge amount. And so really, yeah, just so tragic, the news about his passing this last week, and a little bit bittersweet also to be coming back to Hamilton, in the shadow of this news, because he was you know he was uh, he was really a Canadian icon in the classical music world. And I was looking forward to popping in and seeing if he was around. But what can you do?
Yeah, that's interesting. That was part of your path as well. So, did you go from National Academy Orchestra then right to Calgary?
I did, yes. I spent the summer before I started in Calgary in Hamilton, and this will be my first time coming back actually since that summer. So,
And first time with the HPO, right?
first time with the Hamilton Philharmonic, yeah, and I couldn't be more excited to be working with Dee as well. I mean, yeah, I've listened to a lot of your music, and I've seen some of your performances as well. I saw your the recorded performance you did with the Vancouver Symphony over the during some of their digital projects, and it's great. I can't wait to work together and just put on a great show.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, and I mean, Dee, you have so many recordings. It's really impressive. I can't believe how many. Yeah, it's been great to listen to those.
Well,
Now, I understand that you really are behind this show, and that you put together a number of orchestral shows like based on a theme. And you know, select the tunes and then you're ready to sing them. So can you tell us about the inspiration behind this particular concert, The Legends of Swing?
Yes, it came from a program that I have entitled Great Ladies of Swing, where I feature tunes from Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and Peggy Lee. So the show that we're doing, Legends of Swing, is actually adapted from that, right? And these are signature tunes that these women have recorded over their lifetime. And then the interesting thing is many of the tunes, all of the women have sung at some point in their career, right? So, but what I've done is I've kind of made this into what the arrangements, that is. The arrangements allow me the opportunity to really be me and really interpret the stories of the songs. And, you know, I like to have fun. And I have created a program that really, really allows me to have fun. And I'm going to give a heads up to you, Karl, that in the rehearsal, there's a couple of the tunes that we will get through. However, I will not be participating necessarily in the way that I will be actually performing these songs on the concert evening. That's just a little heads up. Okay.
I'm writing this down.
That's quite
and well, the reason is because, you know, like I said, I like to have fun, and I like to have little joyful surprises for the orchestra and the conductor as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All right.
that's exciting.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, let's keep it spontaneous and
yeah.
great.
Yep,
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
I was actually going to ask you about improvising. I mean, jazz, of course, is improvising is at the core of jazz, and
Right.
of course, we have arrangements that are all very specifically written down for the orchestral players. And I was wondering if you have any freedom to improvise, and I guess the answer is yes.
A big yes. A big yes. Yes, my orchestrator, David Pierce, is from Calgary. And we got together on this, and we arranged each piece that does allow me to be me, as I said, but also we maintain the integrity of the original composition always.
Okay. And were these legends of swing? I assume they were inspirational for you.
Oh yes, yes. Each of these, like I said, Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, Billie Holiday, and Sarah Vaughan. Now Sarah happens to be my most favorite of all of the female jazz vocalists, right? And I actually, this is back before I think Karl might have been born, but back in 1987, I had the opportunity to meet her in person. And actually, we were both the two vocalists invited to a weekend event at the North Sea in Holland called Jazz In Party, and that's INN. And we were amongst a myriad of jazz musicians like the Sir Roland Hanna Trio, the Cedar Walton Trio, the Monty Alexander Trio, the Tommy Flanagan Trio. And then you had all of these horn players that included Harry Sweets Edison and Al Cohen and Al Gray and Red Holloway. So it's just us two women there, right, representing the vocalists. And Sarah, we actually had an opportunity to sing together, which was just in heaven, right? And we maintained contact until she passed away, right? And just the most generous, gracious person you could ever want to meet, you know. So to have the opportunity through this program to share tunes by her in particular is just a joy to me.
That's very special. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Karl, as a conductor, what's the benefit of having a show like this that comes together kind of as a package with all of these tunes and Dee?
The benefit is that it's a great product to share with the audience, because we're featuring really like the full package, and probably within a genre that maybe the orchestra doesn't play a lot of concerts in throughout a regular season. But yeah, great guest artists, featured soloists, and I think it also helps to both kind of expand the offerings of what a symphony orchestra does in terms of genre and style, and so it's good for our sort of like interpretive chops to be able to just jump into a totally different style that we might not be able, or that we might not be used to operating within on kind of a weekly basis. And I think it also reaches out to the audience in a nice way, or the general community that might, be looking through what the Hamilton Philharmonic is offering in their season, and then they see, oh, a jazz show, Legends of Swing, Dee Daniels is here. That's cool. I want to go see that show. So I think it's great for an organization like the HBO to be featuring a concert like this, and I think it's also fun for the musicians and for myself to have to swing a little bit.
Yeah, that actually brings me to my next question of exactly that. How is it for you personally, coming from the classical world, and of course an orchestra of classical musicians playing jazz? I mean, as well, I should mention too that personnel managers can sometimes help. Like in this case, we need some extra musicians aside from our core. So there are some strategically placed musicians that are very comfortable in the jazz world in certain sections. But how is this for you? And I should also tell our audience about your position at Calgary Phil, right, where you're associate conductor. So in that role, you're doing all sorts of concerts, right? Main stage classical concerts and education concerts and special pops and jazz shows. So you have a lot of experience here.
Yeah, it's a bit of everything, but I mean, I of course I love classical and orchestral music, but I really love so many different genres of music. On Saturday night we did a Joni Mitchell show with Sarah Slean, and that was just an amazing experience, I think, for everyone who was there. And it is fun, and I think it's quite rewarding to constantly be exploring different genres. And I think that there's something in every show and in every kind of repertoire that you can explore and be inspired by, and then use to contribute towards music making in any medium. In terms of jazz and blues and sort of this genre of music, I did grow up playing in jazz bands when I was in high school. So I played a lot of jazz guitar very badly, and played in a jazz combo. And yeah, I love this music, and of course, yeah, like Sarah Vaughan and Ella, and I mean, there's so many incredible jazz vocalists and instrumental jazz as well. Like I love like combo jazz and big band music as well. I think there's an amazing amount of like brilliance and spontaneity and the idea of improvisation and of really creating something that's exciting and completely new within each moment, I think is something that within classical music we can actually benefit a lot from. And I just also love so much just like the attitude of this music and like and the coolness of it, and the vibe I think is just so infectious. So yeah, it's fantastic music, and I think as classical musicians in general, I think really love jazz and swing, and I think I think everyone's gonna have a good time.
Hmm. And as well, Dee, I think it helps, to have really great arrangements. And you've obviously taken care of that. You have an arranger for the show, so that'll help everybody swing and be consistent. The arrangements here are so important.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's everything, right?
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your arranger and that relationship? And if you had some say in these.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a team effort, right? Matter of fact, Dave Pierce is the arranger, and as I mentioned earlier, he's from Calgary, and he was just here in town recording at one of the studios here, and he and I had a chance of his partner and my husband went out to dinner here just 2 nights ago, so and we hadn't seen each other in a while. But anyway, Dave and I met. We figure it was about 20 years ago, right? And at the time, I was working a lot with the conductor Jeff Tyzik from Rochester. And whenever he did swing programs, I would go out with him, and do those programs. And after about 2 years of that, I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, I just love doing pops programs, and I'd like to create my own programs, So Jeff, being the most generous person he is, he said, okay, I'll help you any way I can. Now, in the meantime, in the 2 years that I was out with him, I learned so much from him just through observation, right, and just talking to him and so forth. But anyway, to make a long story short, I got a call from Dave and to go to Calgary and to do a corporate event. And he had a 30-piece orchestra. Well, I have a recording with the Metropole Orchestra of Holland, which is virtually that. It's a big band with strings and extra woodwinds, and that's exactly the what he had, So we used my charts. And it was after then, not that long after then, that I had made this decision that I wanted to indeed create my own pops program. So I said, well, there's this young man there in Calgary. So I called him up. We got together and we had a great time creating these arrangements, because I would just maybe play, the arrangement that I wanted, and he would take that and orchestrate it. So it really gave me the opportunity, as I mentioned, to be me in my interpretation of these songs, So that's what people are going to hear on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. It's so great to understand, I mean, we'll see you as a singer on stage, but this is also kind of your baby, your creation, right? Why you're putting these pieces together and your impact on the arrangements. So it goes much deeper than the performance of the night.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It gives you so much more freedom, and for me personally, just great joy, to be on a stage with whatever number of musicians, that many musicians in an orchestra, and to still be able to do what I love the way I love to do it, And it took me a while to understand how to sing with an orchestra, because it is not the same as singing with a combo or a big band for that matter. As you pointed out earlier, that there are specific arrangements. Everybody has, it's going to be the same every night, So but the way that Dave and I were able to arrange these songs, it gives me a little leeway. I can be extremely spontaneous, with my delivery, my phrasing, and all of that kind of stuff. But as I said, always maintaining the integrity of the original composition, the melody, and so forth. So yeah, so I just always look forward to doing my pops programs. I had other programs as well, but this happens to be my most favorite.
Well, that's great. Now, I find the era, the big band and swing era, well, very interesting. But in particular, because we have Black singers and white orchestras playing together for the first time. Like if we look at Billie Holiday, in 1937, she joined a white orchestra there with Artie Shaw. And it didn't go well, right? I mean, she couldn't use the hotel like the other guests. She had to come in the side door. She couldn't sit at the bar. And so it wasn't a lasting relationship. It didn't work. So I wonder, do you think about all of this history when you're singing these songs and presenting this music? And do you think about, sort of your place in all of this and how it is presenting it with orchestras today?
Yeah, well, I am definitely aware of the history. I have my own history when it comes to racial matters, of course. But you know what, Abigail? Music to me surpasses all of that. Music has the possibility to heal, to change, to bring joy. So I personally do not bring that stuff or anything else to the stage. When I'm on the stage, I am there to go inside myself where there is a whole lot of joy and a whole lot of love, unzip myself, open up, and share that with everybody in the room. That's all I'm there to do. I don't care about anything else at that moment. And thank God we're in this time where I can go to a hotel, any hotel. I can walk in the front door, so I can eat wherever I want. And there's I remember the first time I went down south in the States to do a Pops program. And to be honest, I was a little bit leery, as to, okay, how am I going to be received? Will I, I'm a sensitive person. Will I feel any weirdness or anything like that? And I'm happy to say that I did not. And I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons is because of the music. The music. And the other reason may be just because of me, because I don't go there. I'm well aware, I'm not fooling myself or anything like that. But when it comes to the music and performance, it's all about the music to me, and love and joy and peace and freedom, compassion, all of those things.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Now, I wonder, you've already shared the story about meeting Sarah Vaughan. Any other legends you've met that have been particularly important to you?
Oh my God.
That's a big
A
question, I guess.
whole lot of
How
oh
long do we
yeah.
have?
Oh, right. I've been extremely blessed to be able to work with and also record with so many legends, many of them gone, now, and that includes Lionel Hampton. I mean, we were buddies. I met him in 1992 at the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival, which is still going on, by the way. And I don't know, we just connected, and I ended up working with him sometimes. But yeah, we became friends. And so every time I went to New York, we'd go out for a soul food dinner, right, in Harlem. That was our thing. We talked on the phone fairly frequently. And that was just one. And then Oh gosh, one of my mentors was Ernestine Anderson, and Ernestine's from Seattle as well, and that's where I began my music professionally. And so she was like my music mother, you know, and my mentor and my friend. Uh, there's just a myriad of musicians. So I've had the opportunity to be mentored by so many wonderful musicians. I mean, Harry Sweet Edison, uh, um, oh my God, so if I can list you by instrument, you know, all of the guys that I know and work with, and those that are still with us, you know, and even young lions that I witnessed, you know, years ago, like Russell Malone, guitar player, Christian McBride, bass player, you know, and just young guys like that that now that are adults and older adults, you know, and they're mentoring now, you know. So I have I'm just so blessed, you know, and so happy and honored to have had the experiences that I have had with so many incredible and not just in the States and Canada, but abroad too, because I lived in Europe for 5 years, right? So yeah, it's been good, really good.
And Karl, how about for you? Any career highlights you'd like to share with us? Any special moments of conducting?
Um, yeah, it's I mean, this season has been pretty incredible in Calgary. We've been able to do a lot of amazing music, and um, yeah, just like some crazy programs. And I've been really fortunate that I've been on the podium a lot this year, maybe more so than other years. And yeah, it's been a really fantastic year. We played a piece by Unsuk Chin in October, who's she's a Korean based in Germany now composer. She was like a student of Georgi Ligeti, and her music is pretty. It's somehow like pretty out there, but also I think very accessible. And so that was just totally a wild ride to bring her music to Calgary. Maybe for the first time. I don't think that the Calgary Phil had performed her music before. Um, so yeah, that was a huge highlight, and I'm also really looking forward to conducting Mozart's Requiem in about a month here, and yeah, it's been a really, you know, I think it's been a tough year in many ways, of course, as we're all kind of navigating the path back to the normalized concert experience. But in general, I think, just it's been a really powerful year as well, to just be reminded of how important live music performance is to us, to our audience members, and to the whole music community, um, and to yeah, really just to relish in that, and be grateful for every opportunity to make music with very talented people, and to share what we love to do with our audience.
No, no question. I think there will be a lot of energy and excitement in the hall for your performance. So thank you so much for joining me, Dee Daniels, Karl Hirzer. We look forward to seeing you on stage at the HPO with the Legends of Swing.
Thank you, Abigail.